talk about a little trailer that came out. Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So, before I start my rant and I just go off the rails, I'm gonna let you guys talk. But I will say that I thought the trailer was dope. The trailer had some great visuals. The music was on point. Like I got the feels with the music, and it had a really good, serious, mature tone, which we haven't seen in the MCU for quite some time. So I'm actually excited to see how this movie turns out. My only disappointment is Black Panther was not recast, which, if they didn't do it in this movie, I would have been okay. But the trailer does confirm that T'Challa was killed off screen. He's dead. We're not going to see him, and we won't see T'Challa moving forward. Okay, done. Go. You guys go. You tell me what you thought of the trailer. Moment of silence.
Or you want me? Rest in peace, Chadwick. Nah, my man, dude. Like I love him as an actor. I get what they're doing. They're respecting him. But I don't know what to say, because it's like I watched the trailer and I'm like, okay, I get it. It's really heartfelt. This is a love letter to him, and I appreciate that. But the character T'Challa has been around. There's so many really, really cool stories that I would have loved to see, and they're kind of switching it now because it's obvious his little sister is becoming Black Panther, which she did become Black Panther in the comics, but it was only for a very brief time, and I don't remember the reason why. And then there's just so many things that I liked about the trailer, and I'm gonna go watch the movie. I am, but there's some things that I just didn't agree with, outside of the whole not recasting T'Challa, the different name for Atlantis, because they're worried about conflicting and confusing people with Aquaman. So they're completely switching up Namor's origin from the comics, and it's going to be called some other thing. I don't even know what the name they used it. It's something that is I can't even go back to the comics, because it seems like they've created an entire original idea with these characters. Everything that we're going to see in this movie is not in the comics. Maybe small little things will be, but not everything. So with that, I don't know what to expect. I'm going to watch it, and then I'll let you know what I think after.
But going into what you said about Shuri becoming Black Panther, the thing to keep in mind is that Shuri didn't become Black Panther until years. Black Panther's been around since the 60s? Mm-hmm. And Shuri didn't become Black Panther until the 2010s? And Marvel is so maybe this wasn't the original plan for her to become Black Panther right away, and they're just kind of getting ahead of it because Chadwick Boseman passed away. But listen, the T'Challa character means so much. The T'Challa character has had so many storylines, and it's just not going to be the same having a completely different character take over the T'Challa, presence, right? Because the big thing in the comic books was that Namor and Black Panther T'Challa had a massive rivalry. Massive. I think even during the time that he stopped being Black Panther, T'Challa and Namor still had that massive rivalry. It doesn't mean the same now that you have Namor facing off against Shuri, if she's going to be the one that's going to replace Black Panther, or Okoye, or whoever else from the Dora Milaje that's going to replace. We don't know. I mean, it's obvious that it's going to be Shuri, but let's see, if they try to surprise us and make it somebody else completely different. Let's say Robert Downey Jr. passes away. It's not like they're not going to recast Iron Man.
Dude, look at Hugh Jackman. He played Wolverine for over a decade, and they're going to recast his character, which we're fine with. Wolverine is a huge character. I'm sorry, that was...
And listen, the significance of T'Challa as a character, I mean, he's a king of Africa. We've never had a superhero that's a king of Africa. I'm completely down with them having said, hey, we're just not going to recast him for this movie, but still keep the option of recasting him later on open. But they've already said, nah, we're not recasting T'Challa ever.
Yeah, I even read a couple of things that was like upsetting me even more, like what they plan on doing. And I don't know if this is true. This is all like fan prediction, but like his love interest in the movie is supposed to, at the end of the movie, give birth to their kid, which is a little boy. So I'm like, okay, they have the Ultimate Avengers, which could be another character in the future, but that just means like I don't want it to be a cop out either, you know? Like, don't come up with all these ideas. They're going as far as introducing a secondary hero because they know, like, I don't know if Shuri as a character is too difficult for her to carry on the movie by herself. They have Ironheart. I don't have any interest in Ironheart, dude. When I saw her image, they were like completely mimicking what Robert Downey Jr. was doing as Iron Man, hitting the sheet of metal. I was like, come on, bro. Like, this is, if anything, this is too soon. You just killed off Iron Man in the comics in Avengers Endgame, and now you're necessarily replacing him with a copycat character that's so similar, and it's just too much, dude. It's like, there's a lot of Disney politics behind this. It's like, come on, man. What about Don Cheadle, War Machine? He could have carried on. He's been with the character since day one. Let him have his own solo movies. Let him carry on that character. But now you're bringing in someone from far out left field just cause, like, it just doesn't make any sense, man.
No, I'm
with
you,
man. Sounds like Disney politics.
Yeah, let's come out with 2 female heroes, because we need more women empowerment or politics or something like that. Like, come on, bro. That's all cool and dandy, but don't force it. This is definitely forced. She could have been, like you said, she could have carried on, let Shuri be Black Panther in this movie, and T'Challa's out doing something else. And then in the future, you show that you've recasted him,
Yeah.
But what upsets me is that, like, we're following the comic books, right? And Namor is one of the most powerful heroes in the MCU. You're telling me that Shuri, who couldn't even fight one dude, Killmonger, that's a low-level villain in the MCU, she's gonna beat Namor's ass? Hell no. Even with all the Wakanda blood and the Black Panther power, no way. That dude is powerful. In the trailer, you see him standing there while there's missiles landing around him. Like, he don't care.
And he's not even moving.
He's not, dude. So I'm just surprised. Like, I want to see how strong they make him.
Yeah.
If they weaken him up a little bit, or what they're doing with the character. Because I know the actor also said, like, he hopes they love his character, but he's gonna be doing he's gonna be the villain in this one. But there's a reason for it.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how that movie's gonna go. Some of it does look dope. Like, I think they have a lot of, because Ryan Coogler, he's big on the stories. He's big on characters. So he's not. I know he could make. He's done really great films, and but I don't know, the whole, like, now recasting T'Challa. That's gonna be the biggest impact of how the Black Panther series goes forward. And I don't know if basing it on all the big characters of Wakanda is gonna be enough to push everything or catapult it past them not having a king.
To your point, Dano, Ryan Coogler, he's a great filmmaker. There's no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a good movie. And I think the final product, we're going to come out of the movie saying, hey, this was a great movie. This was a good movie. We're still going to have the issue of, but they should have still recast T'Challa at some point. Maybe not in this movie. And maybe we don't need him to be recast in this movie. But the fact that we're never going to get the character coming back, that's still not gonna sit right with a lot of people, and people aren't just gonna forget. With that said, I will say, the trailer did get me hyped. What I really liked, and I have to admit, at first when I heard about the whole change to Namor and his heritage, and instead of them being Atlantean, which is more kind of sort of like the Roman type of history, it's gonna be more Aztec, Mayan. When I heard about that, I was like, but seeing it looked dope. I think visually the designs and what we saw from the Atlanteans, because I don't know what they're going to be called, if it if it's Talaconians, I don't know, but let's keep it with Atlantis. It's probably going to be simpler at this point. But what I saw was great. That one scene where they showed the whales and a bunch of Atlanteans just holding on, and then they're on
visual
the island.
effects.
Yeah, visually, and not just the visual effects, but like the art direction. The art direction looked pretty cool, you know. And I think the movie, because I think Atuma, right? He's a villain in the comic books from Atlantis, and he's in this movie. So I'm pretty sure while Namor is going to start off as a villain, I think towards the end of the movie he's going to realize like what we're doing is not right.
He's being manipulated.
Yeah, and maybe he realizes, hey, I'm just angry, you know, for whatever reason, right? That's what they have to reveal through the story. But I have to say that what really impressed me was that one scene in the trailer where they show Namor's mom having a water birth and the baby's born, and you see the little wings on his ankles, and they kept these little things that could have easily been like, no, we're gonna keep that away because it just looks ridiculous. Like, no, at least they kept these things that are very important to the character. He has the pointy ears, he has the wings on his feet, you know, he's still an outcast within his own people in Atlantis, and the Atlanteans are blue, because they could have easily said, oh, you know, there's an Avatar movie coming out and there's gonna be blue people in that movie, so we can't make the Atlanteans here blue. They could have easily copped out of that as well, but you see the Atlanteans are blue, so they kept a lot of things from the comics. But the art direction looks really cool to me, so I'm really excited visually what we're gonna get from this movie. To your point, Dano, I think the story that Ryan Coogler has come up with, and his and his direction in general within the movie is gonna be dope. I'm looking forward to the soundtrack. The music in the first movie was dope. So I think this movie, I have no doubts in my mind that this is gonna be a good movie. But we'll see. What I would have really liked, that this movie would have taken place during the 5 years after the snap, because maybe they could have used that as a way to say, oh, T'Challa's dead, you know, because he snapped. And by the time they catch up to the rest of the MCU after the 5 years, they can find a way to say, oh, well, the multiverse exploded, you know, and after Secret Wars, when they combine all the different realities, they could use that as a way to recast T'Challa, right, and bring him back into the MCU. But it doesn't seem like this is taking place during the 5 years after the snap.
There's rumors about that, though. Actually, now that you reminded me mentioning that, that there's some people speculate that the film is taking place during those 5 years, and that's why he's gone. And this is what happens, you know, during that time. So,
man, I looked into it. My man's dead.
That would be cool. That would be cool. But because it would be better than him getting killed off screen permanently.
Yeah.
Because killing him off screen permanently is awful. That to me is gonna be the one thing. I don't care how well they try to do it. It's just not gonna roll. Like, the movie starts with them having a funeral for him, and it was because, like, I don't know, he got killed by someone or he just passed away. Like, there's no right way of doing that. There just really isn't. So,
dude, if they do that, I would be hyped. If they reveal, like, they're just saying he's dead because of the whole blip or the snap or whatever, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, because then at least there's still hope. Yeah, exactly.
And even then, you know, going forward with like Secret Wars and stuff, you can recast him like a variant. Yeah, like, oh, this is why he looks different, because as we've seen in Loki, not all variants look the same. They're the same person, they just don't look the same.
Yeah, and they can stick to their guns and saying, yeah, we never recast Chadwick Boseman. Okay, great. We just got a variant. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And even Spider-Man, we had 3 different actors play the same character in one movie.
I mean, and we saw it in the Loki show. We saw how many different Lokis did we see? You know, we saw a crocodile Loki. I mean, come on.